हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
Hare Krishna. So we will continue today again from our Srimad Bhagavatam study in the 9th canto of the passing away of Srila Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev is enlightening, enlivening, and uplifting the Pandavas who are very morose. So in this section that we see that we are discussing from these verses, Bhishma is glorifying the position of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how Krishna is the source of all other demigods and all other forms of the Lord as Narayan. So this is being revealed here by Sri Bhishma Dev. And in the last verse we saw that how Bhishma Dev is glorifying that the Supreme Lord is equal to all. He has very special attributes and qualities. What are those qualities? That he is Sarvatmanaha. He is present in everyone's heart. He is Samadrisho. He is equal to everyone. He is situated in everyone's heart. That is Sarvatmana, and his Samadrisho. He is equal to everyone. Then he is free from ahankara, anahankritaha, free from all material identity or false ego. And also he is avadasya, nirvadasya, free from all attachments. Being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is present in everyone's heart. He is equally kind to everyone. And he is free from the false ego of differentiation. Therefore, whatever he does is free from material inebriety. He is equibalanced. So, Vishnudev is glorifying the supreme position of the Lord and how he is equal to all. Then further he says, see exactly what we see the flow of Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, the highest realization, the most confidential knowledge Bhishma Dev is giving. Krishna gave this Gita to Arjuna. That is why he did not give it to Yudhishthir. Why? Yudhishthir would not have been able to accept as Arjuna. So Krishna chose Bhishma to give the same knowledge of Gita, you see. Tathapi ekant bhakteshu Pashya bhupa anukampitam Yanme asun tyajata sakshat Krishno darshanam agata. Tathapi, even though he is Sarvatmana and Sarvadrisha, Tathapi, but when it comes to Ekant Bhakteshu, that yet, despite his being equally kind to everyone, he has graciously come before me. So he has given special favor to whom? This is the acknowledgement of Bhishma Dev. Ekant Bhakteshu is addressing about him. Pasya bhu anukampitam, that he has appeared before me to show his anukampa, to show his special mercy, his grace. He has graciously come before me. Yanme asum tyajata sakshat, when he's just about to leave his life here or end his body. He has graciously come before me while I am ending my life. For I am his unflinching servitor. This is very important. That Krishna is not just kind and merciful like all to his devotee, he is specially inclined, or he gives special favor to those who serve him. So here, Bhishmadev is taking a sort of pride that due to his unflinching service to the Lord, although in very, very adverse and difficult situation, the other day we discussed the quantum of service which was assigned to Bhishmadev was very difficult, most difficult, because he was put into the opposite camp. But he had full faith. His faith never ever changed. The Supreme Lord, the absolute personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, although equal to everyone, is more inclined to his unflinching devotee who is completely surrendered and knows no one else as his protector and master. What is the verse in the 9th chapter? Exactly the same verse. Tell me, very, very famous verse. It talks about Krishna Bhaktsavatsalta. So he is not just like a Paramatma who is equal to all. Yes, in a sense of Paramatma, he is equal to all, but when it comes to Bhagavan, he is very personalized. Which verse is that? You should be knowing. And 9th chapter should be knowing. We have discussed 9th chapter so many times. Pranav?
Prabhuji, don't know, Prabhuji.
I should be knowing. If you don't know the 9th chapter, then you don't know the Madhurya of Bhagavad Gita. Then Bhagavad Gita will look dry. It will not look so appealing and attractive. One moment. Please find out. Found out the verse? See? This is not good. I will not give you the verse. Okay, yes. Boli Ravinder.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Priyanka.
Prabhuji, this is Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dvesho Asti Na Priya.
Yeah.
Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite tesu chapyaham.
Yes. What is the translation?
Translation is Lord Krishna says that he is
Yes, please continue. I'm hearing.
Lord Krishna says that I am I am not partial to anyone and I am equal to all.
Yes.
Who render service, devotional service unto him, he is also friend of him.
He is also
Friend to him.
and I am also friend to him is not written.
Only Krishna is a friend.
This is 9 point. What is the verse number?
29.
Point 29.
Yes. You have missed the most important point. Whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me. This is not mentioned in the translation. Priyanka, I'm asking you,
Yes, Prabhuji.
did anyone hear this? He's not just saying he's a friend to me, that he says Sruhidam Sarva Bhutanam. But here he says something very special. Is a friend is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Anyway, you see, this is what Krishna is exhibiting here in this pastime of Sri Bhishma Dev. And how Krishna awards or rewards his unflinching devotees. He can go to any extent to give favor to his devotees. This is what is being acknowledged. It's very important. Bhishma Dev never had any gravy and said, hey, what is this? I am a pure devotee of Krishna, and what is my situation? I have been lying on the bed of arrows for 55 days. No one came to attend him for last 55 days. If it would be for 5 hours, what would be our situation? And what kind of accusation or allegations we would be making? But here see what Bhishma Dev is appreciating. That is why they are Mahajan. That is why they are the pure devotees. So he's acknowledging, he's saying, having unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord as one's protector, friend, and master is the natural condition of eternal life. Without a doubt. A living entity is made by the will of the Almighty that he is most happy when praising himself in that condition of absolute dependence. So in that very tragic situation, what was Bhishma Dev in? He was in a situation of complete, absolute dependence on Krishna. He could not do anything. He was pierced every corner of his body. There was nothing he could do. He was just meditating and remembering Krishna. And because of his remembrance and meditation, Krishna appeared. The opposite tendency is the cause of fall down. Prabhupada is warning. The happy condition is when we are depending on Krishna. And when is the situation of fall down? As soon as we become independent. We try to do our own way, our own things. The living entity has a tendency of falling down by dint of misidentifying himself as fully independent, and thus free to lord it over the material world. The root cause of all trouble is there in fall egotism. So as soon as we try to think that we are the Lord, we are the master, or we are the enjoyer, or we are the controller, or we are the proprietor, and we have the right, or we have the ability to do as I like. One must give up the false sense of complete independence and thus draw more attention to the Lord in all circumstances. The appearance of Lord Krishna at the deathbed of Bhishma Ji. Prabhupada is writing as not Bhishma Dev here, as Bhishma Ji. Special affection and inclination. Prabhupada is in ecstasy. The appearance of Lord Krishna at the deathbed of Bhishma Ji. Prabhupada never writes like this. Very rare you will see Prabhupada mentioning Bhishma Ji. Is due to his being an unflinching devotee of the Lord. This is what is making Prabhupada ecstatic. Due to his being an unflinching devotee of the Lord. Arjuna had some bodily relation with Krishna because the Lord happened to be his material cousin. Prabhupada is comparing. But Bhishma had no such bodily relation. Therefore, the cause of attraction was due to the intimate relations of the soul. This is pure attraction of the soul to the Supreme Lord. And such pure relationship is exhibited in the case of Bhishma Dev. Yet because the relation of the body is very pleasing and natural, the Lord is more pleased when he is addressed as the son of Maharaj Nanda and son of Yashoda, the lover of Radharani. So Krishna takes more pleasure. Krishna is more pleased when he is addressed in relation to his devotee. He is as a Nandanandan. So Nandanandan means, where is Krishna's name there? His name is there because of Nanda Maharaj. The Nanda Maharaj's name is more prominent. And because Krishna has relationship with Nanda, so he is known as Nandanandan or Yashodanandan or lover of Srimati Radharani. This affinity by body relation with the Lord is another feature of reciprocating loving service with the Lord. Bhishma Dev is conscious of this sweetness of transcendental humor, and therefore he likes to address the Lord as Vijay Sakha. Bhishma Dev was in which rasa? Which rasa was Bhishma Dev exhibiting or exchanging with Krishna? Veer ras. He was in Veer ras, in chivalrous rasa. So how to know that he was in chivalrous rasa? So he addressed Krishna as Vijay Sakha. Because Krishna was on the opposite side, opposing Arjuna, and Krishna was the chariot driver guiding Arjuna. Although they were on the opposite side and Bhishma was shooting arrows, so he was manifesting that rasa of chivalrous. So it is, he addressed Lord Krishna as Vijay Sakha. Here, Vijay is to whom? Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. So Vijay will be on the side of where Krishna is. So he says Vijay Sakha or Partha Sakha, exactly like Nandanandan or Yashodanandan. So there the rasa is different. There is Vatsalya and here it is Viraras. The best way to establish our relationship in transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotee. This is very important principle Prabhupada quotes here. This is the only principle which works. Or the only way one can connect to Krishna is to establish a relation in transcendental sweetness to approach him through his recognized devotee. Recognized devotee means? I'll complete the sentence and discuss. One should not try to establish the relation directly. There must be a medium which is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. So here Prabhupada is saying the best way to establish a relation in transcendental sweetness is to approach him through his recognized devotee. What does the term recognized devotee mean? And then Prabhupada is saying we should not try to directly approach him. What is recognized devotee? Yes, Madan Swarup Prabhu?
Prabhuji, it should be through parampara and the pure devotees.
That is what I am asking. How to know who is in parampara and who is pure devotee, who is recognized devotee? How do you know who is pure or who is partially pure?
Parampara is not difficult to
recognize,
but pure devotee is difficult to recognize.
Difficult. Then Prabhupada is saying one should approach Krishna only through a recognized devotee. So how do we know who is a recognized devotee? So many hands are up. Yes, Sonika?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, one must be coming through the Guru Parampara and he is following all his instructions of Guru and following the path of which is suggested by the Guru, and he is not interpreting.
That is what already Madhusura Prabhu has said. That is right. That's true. That is one of the aspects. But how to know who is recognized devotee? Can you, by all this, know who is a recognized devotee?
Through his Acharan, Prabhuji.
How do we find that Acharan? Yes, Dayashil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The Mahajanas Prabhuji, the Mahajanas are the recognized devotees of the Lord.
There
And
are only
also,
12, only 12 Mahajans are there. Do you see them? Can you
also
approach Krishna
Prabhuji,
through them?
whatever Lord speak, they do not interpret. They just is transparent via media of the Lord.
Okay. Anyone else? More specific, more clear? Manoram Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So recognized, I think by ourselves it is difficult, but when the many other devotees will be recognizing, like in ISKCON, if we can see there is GBC and they are recognizing some.
You have gone official. Okay, that is also one way. Recognized devotee means here Krishna is recognizing him as a devotee. We may claim that we have become Krishna's devotee, but that is not being Krishna's devotee. Whom Krishna accepts as his devotee. And if one becomes his devotee, he is a recognized devotee. This is very important. How to be recognized as the Krishna's devotee? Whom Krishna has accepted his devotee, that person recognizes anyone as a devotee, that is recognized devotee. Krishna will not directly come to recognize us. So all your answers are right, but it was not on the point. So whoever is coming in the disciplic succession, who has been recognized by his spiritual master, or who has been authorized by his spiritual master, is a recognized devotee. Simple. As straight and simple as that. No need to speculate. And here, who is recognizing Bhishma Dev? Directly Krishna. No one else. How? Krishna has agreed to appear before the departure of Bhishma Dev. So he is directly recognized by Krishna. But for us, whoever is recognized by a recognized devotee is another way. Whoever is recognized by a recognized devotee, he becomes recognized. That is how the parampara flows. One cannot get himself elected on his own. That is not a recognized devotee. So one who is recognized by Krishna, and in turn, those who are recognized by Krishna, they recognize anyone or authorize anyone. So that becomes a recognized devotee. And Prabhupada is saying that we have to approach Krishna through such recognized devotees, not independently. One should try to establish the relation direct. One should not try to establish the relation directly. There must be a medium which is transparent and competent to lead us to the right path. And that is the recognized devotee, who is the transparent and competent via media to lead us to the right path. Very beautiful verse. The verse in glorification of holy name. It has come. And then he gives this further understanding of the power of the process of devotional service. How powerful is the devotional service? Bhaktya mano yasmin vachayannam kirtayan tyajan kale varam yogi muchyate kam karma bhi. So bhaktya mano yasmin. Bhaktya means performing devotional service. And how one is performing devotional service? Mano yasmin. One who is concentrating the mind. The focus of his mind is performing devotional service. So it is attentive and devout. What is attentive and devout? The devotional service. The devotee and his service are both attentive and devout. We perform service, but in both these areas, we are lagging. Where? In attention and in devotion. So bhaktya vesha mano yasmin. And how that devotional service is being performed? Vacha yannam kirtayan. Vacha means by words. And how the words are engaged? Yannam kirtayan. In loudly chanting and propagating the holy names of the Lord. For such a person who is his entire life engaged in performing devotional service with devout attention and concentration in chanting the holy names of the Lord. Now, what Guru Maharaj says is attentive chanting or chanting without offenses. For such a practitioner, for such a devotee, Tyajan Kalevaram Yogi, when his final time to depart comes, when his final moments come, Tyajan Kalevaram Yogi, one who has connected his mind or his mind is concentrated upon Krishna, Muchyate Kam Karmabhi. He is able to get himself released, Muchyate, terminate. Release, Prabhupada says release. What he is able to release? The Kama Karmabhi, the chain of fruitive activities and reactions. Very beautiful verse. The personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of a devotee. Here, Bhishmadev has directly witnessed the appearance of Lord himself in his personal form, but it will not happen to anyone and everyone, not even to the pure devotees. But the principle is the same. How Krishna will appear? Krishna will appear the personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of a devotee. And which devotee? By attentive devotion and meditation and by chanting of the holy name. The one who has chanted the holy name with attention and devotion, so Krishna will appear in his mind. When? At the time of quitting his body and release the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities at the time of his quitting the material body. That is the power of the holy name. But how that holy name is to be chanted? Here, Mahajan Bhishmadev is giving clear principle to us, that one who has with attentive devotion and meditation chanted the holy name. So he says, not only for me, the Lord has appeared, he will appear for every such devotee. And Prabhupada gives a very emphatic purport. He says, yoga means concentration of the mind detached from all other subject matters. This is one-line statement. That is one-line statement is so very heavy. What does yoga mean? Connection with Krishna means mind is detached from everything else. There is nothing in his heart. There is nothing in his consciousness apart from Krishna. Yoga means concentration of the mind on Krishna, detached from all other material subject matters. And actually such concentration is samadhi. So how to do that? How to come to the platform of samadhi when one is detached from all other things and one is completely focusing his mind and attention on Krishna? Then Prabhupada makes it practical, saying, or 100% engagement in the service of the Lord. The concentration of the mind detached from all other subject matter means 100% engagement in the service of the Lord. No more karma, only yajna. And one who concentrates his attention in that manner is called a yogi. Yogi nam api sarvesha mad gatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamomata. Such a yogi devotee of the Lord engages himself 24 hours daily in the service of the Lord. This is what it means. 100% engaged. That means 24 hours daily engaged in the service of the Lord. What is the example? What is the example? Which personality? Those who are in samadhi or 100% engaged, 24 hours engaged. Yes, Manoram Prabhu?
One example frequently comes was Amrish Maharaj.
Why you have to go so far? Whose disappearance day was yesterday?
Srila Haridas Thakur.
Is he not in Samadhi?
Yes.
Mahaprabhu is saying that you don't have to chant so many names. And he says, no, I cannot be at peace. Who else? Well, don't go far. Connect to what is happening these days. Dayashil, you raised your hand, but you have speak.
Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ji, Prabhuji.
Yes, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Avyarth Kalatvam. 24 hours engaged in service. So these are the personalities. So how they have led their life. That is why on their appearance day, on the disappearance day, we see the life and activities. From there we get inspiration and instructions, teachings. That how we can change our lives. Can anyone claim in the practicing devotee community that he has more responsibilities than Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Or he has a bigger family to support than Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Or his body or his, health situation is more adverse than Bhakti Vinod Thakur? So what are they? They are only making lame excuses. There is no desire in the heart to dedicate life for service of Guru and Krishna. So one is making some lame excuses. But that is why these acharyas come to show us that in spite of all reverses and difficulties, it is possible to do bhakti, because that is the natural function of the soul. So here Bhishmadev is revealing such a yogi devotee of the Lord, yogi devotee, yogi nam api sarvesham. See how sweet are these purports. Bhishma ji, Prabhupada is so much glorifying Bhishmadev. Such a yogi devotee of the Lord engages 24 hours daily in the service of the Lord, so that the whole attention is engrossed with the thoughts of the Lord. So how to do that? It is simple to speak or repeat, but it is so difficult to do that. How to come to that platform? The Prabhupada gives the practical aspect in ninefold devotional service, namely hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, becoming a voluntary servant, carrying out orders, establishing a friendly relationship, and offering all that one may possess in the service of the Lord. Manas deha geha jo kichumor arpilu tua pade nanda kishor. By such practice of yoga or linking up in the service of the Lord, one is recognized by the Lord himself. So this is the clear-cut definition of who is a recognized devotee. As it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita concerning the highest perfection stage of Samadhi. Yoginam api sarvesham. The Lord calls such a rare devotee. Such devotees are not in big numbers. They are rare. The Lord calls such a rare devotee the best amongst all the yogis. Such a perfect yogi is enabled by the divine grace of the Lord to concentrate his mind upon the Lord with a perfect sense of consciousness. That is why if you see the last lesson, how many of you have seen the last lesson movie? You have not seen the last lesson movie? I'm surprised. You must see this Prabhupada's final moments. You are posing as if you are hearing for the first time. Don't you know? It is there everywhere, the last lesson. You see, this is where, although his body is completely dilapidated, but his consciousness is perfectly intact. And he is able to translate Bhagavatam and give the final instructions. So Prabhupada is saying that by the divine grace of the Lord, to concentrate his mind upon the Lord with a perfect sense of consciousness, and thus he easily chants the holy name while quitting his body. This is how Ante Narayana Smriti will happen. Otherwise, it can never happen. It will never happen. Ante Narayana Smriti, to be able to remember the Lord at the time of quitting one's body. This principle has to be followed. If one has attempted in his entire life this principle of attentive chanting and concentrating his mind in hearing the sound vibration, then at the time of quitting, the Supreme Lord himself will give remembrance. This is the sum and substance of teaching of Bhagavad Gita. One devotee was very nicely explaining, it really attracted me. He said, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives his identity. Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna gives his activity. The principle is given in Bhagavad Gita. And how he implements that principle is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. You're following? So because if you don't know the principle, so Krishna says, what is the verse in the 8th chapter? What is the verse corresponding to what we are discussing? Antakale chamameva smarna muktva kalevaram. Ya prayati samadbhavam nasti asti atra samshaya. Yam yam vapi smarnam bhavam tajjante andh kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhav bhavita. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmaram yuddhacha. Mai arpit mano buddhi. Mai aveshit chetasam. So that chetasam, that chetana has to be connected or has to be cultivated. And how that cultivation is? By the process of ninefold devotional service. Nothing else. So if one says that he does not have time for hearing, reading, chanting, and sharing and speaking, that means he is not interested in spiritual emancipations. He wants to exist in material existence. This is the final lesson given by whom? By Bhishma Dev. To whom he is giving? He is giving it to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And he has the exhibiting the perfection. He is exhibiting the perfection. And thus he can easily chant the holy name while quitting his body. At that time, the yogi is at once transferred by the internal energy of the Lord to one of the eternal planets, where there is no question of material life and its concomitant factors. What are the concomitant factors of material life? Birth, age, birth, death, old age and disease. Or ahar, nidra and bhayan maithun. So he is terminated. By how is he terminated? Who will answer? How this chain is terminated? Boliye, what we have discussed in this verse, the principle which Bhishma Dev is giving. Yes, Pranav?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. There, muchante kama karma vidhi.
Yes. How it is terminated?
By attentive devotion and meditation, chanting.
No, that is our part. Krishna personally releases him. That is what Bhishma Dev is saying. At the time of quitting the body, Krishna comes and personally releases him from that chain of fruitive activity or fruitive existence. So material existence and concomitant factors does not exist or continue with him. He is released. In material existence, the living being has to endure the material conditions of threefold miseries, life after life, according to his fruitive work. Such material life, Prabhupada, see how much Prabhupada is diagnosing. Very, very deep purport. Such material life is produced by material desires only. Devotional service to the Lord does not kill the natural desires of the living being. but they are applied in the right cause, devotional service. So the jiva can never be devoid of desire. That will never happen. Then there is no existence. Till the time the soul is there, it is natural proclivity of the soul to desire. But if he desires for anything material, then he will be at the platform of material existence. But if he is able to dovetail his desire, as Prabhupada writes everywhere, Prabhupada uses the words for desire is to dovetail. Dovetail means is to redirect and connect towards Krishna. Then the desires can be liberating. And where he will be liberated, he will be promoted to the eternal planets. And his material existence and his concomitant factor will cease to exist. This is how the way of release is. This is how the Atma can become liberated. This is very important teaching. Bhishma Dev is giving to the Pandavas, and through Pandavas it is coming to all of us. If the natural desires of the well-being being they are applied in the right cause devotional service, this qualifies the yogi to be transferred to the spiritual sky. Then Prabhupada uses another very sweet term of Bhishma Dev, General Bhishma Dev. What he said? Bhishma Ji. Then what he said? Recognized devotee. And now what he is saying? General Bhishma Dev is referring to a particular type of yogi called Bhakti Yoga. And he was fortunate enough to have the Lord directly in his presence before he quit his material body. He therefore requests that the Lord stays before his view in the following verses. So we see this is the power of Bhakti Yoga. What power the Bhakti Yoga has? He can put the practitioner directly in connection to Krishna and make him uplift to come to the spiritual platform to enter into the spiritual world. Could I take one more verse? Because tomorrow I might not have the class. I would be traveling outside Delhi. So if I become late, then I won't be able to come. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshita Kalevaram Yavadaidam Hinomi Aham Prasanna Sa Arunal Lochana Ullasa Mukham Bujo Dhyana Pathas Chaturbhuja. So this is how Bhishma Dev wants to meditate on Krishna. May my Lord who is four-armed. So Viryaras is with whom? Is with Narayan. May my Lord who is four-handed. Krishna is not four-handed. Whose beautiful decorated lotus face with eyes as red as the rising sun is smiling. Kindly await me at that moment when I quit the material body. Yeah, you have seen the bhajan. Shri Gangaji ka tat ho, Samvara nikat ho, jab prana tan se nikle. It will never happen. This is all wishful thing. This is how it will happen. How it will happen, that is how Bhishma Dev knows. What does Anup Jalota know about this? So Bhishma Dev is revealing the principle, the secret, how it will happen. Bhishma Dev knew well that Lord Krishna is the original Narayan. See, his worshipful deity was 400 Narayan. But he knew that 400 Narayan is the plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. Indirectly, he desired Lord Krishna to manifest himself as the 400 feature of Narayan. Where else this was exhibited? When Krishna appeared as 400 form. So Mother Devaki said that please give away your two hands and become 200. But here, because Bhishma Dev is not in that Vatsalya Rasa, he is in the Vir Ras. What is he saying? You please manifest 2 more friends. So this you see the intimacy and the prominence of the rasa in which they are established. A Vaishnava is always humble in his behavior, although it was 100% certain that Bhishmadev was approaching Vaikuntha Dham just after leaving his material body. Still, as a humble Vaishnava, he desired to see the beautiful face of the Lord, for after quitting the present body, he might not be in a position to see the Lord anymore. A Vaishnava is not puffed up, although the Lord guarantees his pure devotee entrance into the abode. Here Bhishmadev says, as long as I do not quit this body, this means that the great general would quit his body on his own will. So he had this boon, he had this very famous privilege that he could decide when to leave his body. He was not being forced by the laws of nature. He was so powerful that he could stay in his body as long as he desired. He got this benediction from his father. He desired that the Lord stay before him in his 400 Narayan feature, so that he might concentrate upon him and thus be in trance in that meditation. Then his mind might be sanctified without thinking of the Lord. Then his mind might be sanctified with thinking of the Lord. Thus he did not mind wherever he might go. A pure devotee is never anxious to go back to the kingdom of God. He entirely depends on the goodwill of the Lord. He is equally satisfied even if the Lord desired that he go to hell. You know the verse, very famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayana parasarve nakutashana bhibyati swargapavarg narkeshu. So whether Narayana parasarve nakutashana bhibyati. So they are never fearful. But those who are Narayan Parayana, those who have taken shelter, those who are depending on the Supreme Lord, na kutashchana bhibyati. So they are equipoised, whether they are sent to the heavenly planets. Find out the verse, Manoram. Narayana parasarve na kutashchana bhibyati. This is Lord Shiva telling to Mother Parvati. When Parvati Devi curses Vritasur. So Lord Shiva says, it makes no difference. The devotee is never condemned. He can never be condemned. Narayana parasarve. Just this search would be sufficient. Yeah. Devotees solely engaged in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, liberation and hellish planets are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in this service of the Lord. So that is the platform of, okay, thank you. You can close it. You can read it later, those who are interested. You give the reference. So Bhishmadev, but he had this desire in his heart, and his desire was pure, that the Lord appear before him. The only desire that is a pure devotee entertain is that he may always be in rapt attention with thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord, regardless of where he is. Bhishmadev wanted this much only, that his mind be absorbed in thinking of the Lord, and that he pass away thus. That is the highest ambition of a pure devotee. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Bhishmadev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Today were 4 festivals. Today is 4th festival. Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas today. Also the Vishwarup Mahotsav and glories of Bhadra Purnima, of receiving and giving Bhagavatam, but even higher than that is reading Bhagavatam. So we opt to read Bhagavatam. And in the morning, by good fortune, I could find some references, very strong. If you have heard the lecture, if one does not have a Bhagavatam in his house, very strong, very, very strong verdict. So if you want to make anyone become a devotee who is not, hearing you or who is not changing his life, do one thing. Give him a Bhagavatam set. What you cannot do, Bhagavatam will do. His life can change forever. Hare Krishna. So please try. I didn't ask any one of you because in the past I have made every one of you. I don't know who is not having. Kunal, I don't think. Do you have a personal Bhagavatam set? Like you have a personal mobile phone?
No, Prabhuji, I have no Bhagavatam.
And there is no desire also. Yeah? You may continue many years without Bhagavatam. Take one. Take one. Take today. If you take today, you will get special bonus. Others, they can think, those who think that they want to do good to others. So you can think about them. Best is to ask them to buy. If they buy, very good, they get more pious credits because their hard-earned money, they will offer to Krishna. And in case if they are so stubborn because they don't want to buy, then you see if you have provision, then you can give to them. If not the full set of Bhagavatam, at least the first volume, first canto.
Okay, Prabhuji. I will take it.
Yeah. But try, attempt at least. Don't let this day go a waste. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.